Hello, and welcome back to our 8-part series, or 8-day series, My Journey as Being a Director of Nursing in Long-Term Care. And if you do not know who I am Michelle Carter. I'm the owner of MCB Nurse Consultant and the founder of the DLN Success Network, which is a membership for directors and nurses to be able to grow spiritually, financially, professionally, personally, and emotionally, so they can be that whole leader and a CEO of their nursing department. And one thing about our membership that is so important is we know who you are. We know your name. It's an intimate place where we're able to connect as directors and nurses to grow. And I have been a director of nursing for 18 years. I'm a mother, I'm a wife, I'm a grandmother, I'm an aunt, I'm a best friend, and I've been a nurse for 25 years. But today, I want to talk to you about my journey of being a director of nursing for the last 8 years in the same facility or same community. And we have, if you've been following us all this week, we have gone through day 1 to day 6, and we are in day 6, year 6, day 6. And I'm excited to talk to you about what happened in 2022. Just to do a recap, I started a position on August 28th in 2017. I had a great opportunity to work with a great company. I was very excited about that. I was a little nervous, had been experienced director of nursing, but was nervous because this is a new company and it was a really great company. Had a very unfortunate accident with a resident in the end of 2017 going into 18. So I had to deal with early on in my career in this particular position, I had to deal with a harm citation. And then coming over that and starting to feel comfortable. And then we starting to feel comfortable in my position. And then we roll into 2019-20. We hit COVID, which was a trying time for all of us. And in the midst of that, in 2018, I also started my education to get my master's degree. So I want to talk to you about 2022 and where we are at in 2022. So 2022, things changed. I was excited about me getting done with school. I graduated I completed my courses in 2021, but didn't have a graduation because of COVID, because things were still kind of shut down. But in 2022, I completed all my classes. I was excited. What am I going to do with this master's degree? I got my master's degree because I wanted to teach. I love to educate. And even being a director of nursing, I love to educate my team. I love to educate others. And that's kind of part of my personality, as I've learned going through learning the personality codes. But what was going to be different in 2022? One thing that was really different, two things that was different. One, I finally finished school. And 2, I took ownership. This was my building. Now, you may think, wow, it took her 6 years to feel like that. Well, it kind of did, because I really didn't feel ownership until COVID hit, which was in my 4th year. But and the reason it didn't feel like mine's because I was still gravitating, understanding the network, understanding the different ways they did things. So I want to tell directors and nurses, when you first get in a position, sometimes you might not feel it's yours, but you have to build that confidence. You have to build that confidence up so you can feel it's yours and understand there's going to be great outcomes and there's going to be bad outcomes. And you have to be able to waver both of them and overcome each one. Embrace your good outcomes, but be able to embrace your bad outcomes and learn from them so you don't have the same bad outcomes. But 2022, the next thing that changed was my team was I was getting more involved with my team, still dealing with the agency, but my team, we were clicking, we were doing really, really good. We were building things. And I happened to be online on social media. And a matter of fact, I was on LinkedIn. And I came across a particular person who was a consultant. And I've always wanted to work as a consultant. I mean, even early in my days, I was fascinated about the consultants when I was a floor nurse. We had consultants that come in the building I worked in. So I was online and I happened to see a particular person. Her name was Nina Hart, and I was really engaged in what she was saying about consultants. So I reached out to her, went to one of her classes, and that is kind of how I started putting together and thinking about how I can take my knowledge of being a director of nursing for the amount of time I've been, the things I've been through, the obstacles I've been through, the great outcomes and the bad outcomes, and help another director of nursing. Because I remember when I first started, even 18 years ago, I didn't have any type of guidance. I didn't have anybody to guide me. So I started reflecting about how hard it was when you first started. And I did even as your first director of nursing job ever. But then I started reflecting about how hard it is when you first start in a new organization. So even in a new organization, in a new starting a director of nursing, you need that guidance. So I developed and worked and went through coaching with Nina and coaching through with another coach. Her name is Dr. Viola Pierce. And I opened up MCB Nurse Consultant. And that's when I decided this is what I'm going to do to help my directors or nurses, to help them be more in tune with themselves, help them to be able to understand what they need, and help them to get a work-life balance. But what was that? What me saying help you get work-life balance, what is that? You got to go a little bit deeper with that. And as I gravitated on, I met some directors and nurses. I had a couple clients I worked with. So it was great in the beginning. Still actively working as a director of nursing. So I'm maintaining my team, trying to maintain processes. And in October of 2022, life happens. Things happen. Also, I did get to graduate. I walked across the stage in October 2022, matter of fact. In October of 2022, before I walked across the stage and I was able to get my master's degree. Me and my husband flew out to Phoenix, and the school I went to was Aspen University, and I got my master's degree. So I was excited about that. I come back, and it was in November 2022 that we had another unfortunate accident. We had a team member. Now, this team member was an agency team member, had been in our building consistently, did everything that they were, was a great worker, but they transferred somebody inappropriately. And it resulted in a situation for the resident. And believe me, I thought I was going to lose my mind. I just could not believe, because one of the things I was hurt by, because we put the processes together. Me and my team had worked together, and we made sure that the CNAs had the tools that they needed. You know, we had the assignment sheets were exact on every neighborhood. We had the nurses update them. We went and updated them, reviewed them during our IDT meetings weekly, making sure everybody had what they needed, when they needed, and how to do it correctly. And she just didn't grab the assignment sheet that day. And it was unfortunate. It was very, very unfortunate. But it teaches you to, as a director of nursing, that it's constant staying on top of things. You constantly have to ask questions. You constantly have to be out there engaging with the team, making sure, spot checking. I had a consultant tell me a long time ago, and this stuck with me: always inspect what you expect. You expect your team to work properly. You inspect it. You make sure you go out there, you talk to them, you check things, you make sure that they have the tools that they need, and you kind of enforce it. And I mean, and it's a sad situation. You still have it still can be a roll of a dice. A team member can just do something, just decide to do it the way they choose to, and it ends up being not the right way, and it ends up being detrimental. But then you have to set your expectations. Detrimental situations are not acceptable when things like that happen. When people make a conscious decision, you have to set the bar that this is not acceptable in our organization. And I know a lot of us are scared because we don't want to lose staff. We don't want to lose, but do you want staff that's not going to do what's right for the residents? And at the ultimate day, that's what we're there for the residents. So from 22, that really taught me even more to be on top of things, to ask more questions, and to taught my team. I teach my team every single day. Don't take anything for granted. You have to ask, because we're dealing with human beings each and every day, human beings, which is our residents, human beings, which is our team members, and people make human mistakes, and people make rash decisions sometimes as humans. So it's so important that you keep the education going. You keep the mindset of what would you do if the survey. I keep the mindset of how the surveyor is going to react. You have to keep that mindset. You have to be survey ready in your mind and in your building at all times. Be prepared of, hey, this might have happened. And this month, let's say February, and you don't have survey until December of the month, but they still can look at that. So you want to have all your T's crossed, all your I's dotted, and always keep that in mind. And that was 22, but 22 gets so much better. As we closed 22 out at the end of the year, now we did what we had to do. We did get a citation for that situation. We did a plan of correction. We got everything done. We did what we needed to do. Then the end of 22, we had another team member that has been there for multiple years, like over a decade, make the same rash decision. And when that happened, we started looking at, okay, what's going on? Is it us as management? Is it the team? Are we giving them the tools? Like, what's truly going on that we're not able to follow the rules that we need to follow it? So sometimes you got to kind of look at, you can put everything in place, but still look at yourself. And one thing we had to start looking at is psychological safety. Does your team feel okay telling you when things are wrong? Do your team feel good coming and talk to you? And we did kind of do analysis, and 95% of our team did feel comfortable. But then you have those outliers who said, well, maybe I don't want to say anything, or I'm scared to say anything. But you want to make an environment where they feel comfortable all the time to come and talk to you, to come and ask you. We did that second incident. We did not get cited, because they kind of look at it. It's a thing called, and I might have to look up the term and tell you exactly tomorrow when we get back on. But because we just got cited for us, they didn't cite us again. And we just had to do another plan of correction. But we didn't get an actual double citation. Because literally 2 weeks after they cleared us, this incident happened. So it was a learning experience, and it set our expectations extremely high of what we're going to tolerate and what we're not. So in the midst of that, I'm building my business. I'm trying to run the building, trying to balance everything. And it was working. My business was starting to build up. We had this situation with the team, but it was a learning experience with the team. It was a learning experience, and it made the other CNAs be aware of when new people come in, of them communicating, making sure they have their assignment papers, making sure they're taking care of the residents correctly, and talking to each other, and made the team more aware of talking to each other. Because I truly do not believe anybody in their heart wants to harm a resident, but people have to understand they want to rush. They want to rush, they want to move, they want to do this because everybody has to be up by a certain time. I teach my teams, safety comes first. Under no circumstances, safety comes first. I can explain to a family member if we were a little short-staffed or we couldn't get somebody up by a certain time. But I can't explain to a family member how their loved one got hurt because we were rushing. And I don't want any director of nursing to do that. And I'm not telling you this because, I'm telling you this because saying it's okay. I'm telling you this because it's a learning experience. But one thing I'm telling you, that I came out of that and I didn't give up. I stayed consistent, and a lot of us give up and throw the towel in. I'm a horrible DON. No, because you have a bad situation does not mean you're a horrible DON. It just gives you a chance to learn, look at the environment, look at the cause, and just grow from it and help your team grow. And that's what I did, and I stayed. I didn't give up. I didn't walk away, because that's what the team doesn't need us to bail when things get hard, because we don't want them to bail. We have to kind of navigate through those situations. So that was 2022. Thank you for joining me. Tomorrow we'll be talking about year 7. My anniversary date is August 28th. We're going to be talking about my 8th year. But come and join us. One more thing I did learn in 22 was the first time I learned about personality signs. And we're going to talk more about that, because I really got into it more in 2023. But thank you for joining me. I appreciate you taking this journey with me, because I think it's so important that other directors and nurses can see that things can get better. You're going to have bumps in the road, but things can get better. Staffing can get better. You can put programs together. Through this, we kept staffing programs together. We had our ups and downs with staffing, but we still made it through. Catch us tomorrow. Please do not forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, MCB Nurse Consulting, and come and join us for day 7, my 7th year of being a director of nursing in the same facility. See you later. Have a great day.